The reason why I'm making this video is because I get a lot of questions in real life and on YouTube about what camera should I buy, what's best for me. Honestly, a lot of the times it's really just situational from a person by person basis, and there is no real perfect camera for everyone. So I'm making this video to kind of try and clear things up for anyone who is looking to get into photography, who just wants to take better photos or wants a different experience than the iPhone. Then this video is for you. First point I want to make is to start by using what you have. And for most people, what they have is a phone, like an iPhone or an Android or whatever. This is what I recommend to anyone who wants to start photography or to get better or interested into photography, is just to use what you have, because that's honestly the easiest thing. A lot of people want to buy something to get better at photography. It's not going to make you better at photography, honestly. And if you need to buy something to get started with photography, then the buying of that thing is really just an excuse for you, to be honest. I know, because that's how it worked for me. The best tool for us is the tool we have. So if you have a phone, just try and take better pictures with that, because honestly, the camera's not going to make you a better photographer. Really, it's just learning exposure, composition, lighting, and all that crap. That's what's going to actually make you a better photographer, not the buying of a camera. So if your limiting factor is the fact that you feel like you need a camera to start getting better at photography, then I'm gonna just tell you straight up, just use what you have. And for most of you guys, that's probably your phone. You can take amazing pictures with the phone you currently have, and I would just start there. Second point I want to make is to not buy the camera gear your favorite creator is using. And this is a big pitfall I see for a lot of people who are just like, Andre, what camera should I get? I want to get better at photography. I'm interested in taking photos. This guy uses this. Should I get that? And I'm just like, no, you shouldn't get that, because what's making that person take good photos or good videos is something completely different. And chances are they know photography, videography, and creativity or whatever to a certain extent that you don't know, that's allowing them to take good photos. So they could take good photos with a potato for all that matters. It's not going to matter what you have versus what they have. And you buying the same camera as them is not going to shortcut your way to taking good photos. So oftentimes the best thing that I would recommend is not to buy what that person has, because the likelihood is that they have some $2,000, $3,000 camera that is way out of budget for you. You're going to buy that camera that they have, and you're going to take some really crappy photos, because at the end of the day, any beginner, anyone who starts photography is going to take crappy photos. That's just the rite of passage almost. And you're going to be upset, and you're going to be like, why? I thought I had the same camera, blah, blah, blah. It's because there's just a bunch of other stuff you don't understand. The camera doesn't actually matter. So no, don't buy the camera your favorite creator is using. Buy a cheaper, lower end budget camera that will help you learn the tools of photography, understand photography, and then just allow you to take really crappy photos to get those out of the way so you can take better photos in the long run. Does that make sense? Point 3 I want to make is the buying itch. And this one is really important because I suffered from it immensely. And it's that when you are excited to start something new, you want to try something new, you're tempted to buy something, because buying is that kind of gateway towards proofing yourself to be like, hey, look at me, I've got this new hobby, or look at me, I'm interested in this. The camera starts to become this kind of validation towards this new thing, this new experience, this new adventure you're going on. And a lot of times we just need to get that buying itch out of the way so we can get better at doing what's important, which is the taking of the photos or the expression or the creativity or whatever. So if you feel like you need a tool now, I would recommend to buy some really cheap, crappy $20 or $30 camera that you might find at a thrift store, or some cheap camera on eBay or something like that, to get that buying itch out of the way. Because this opens the gateway towards more important things, which is just taking good photos or learning focal lengths or exposure, etc., etc., etc. And it's really important because sometimes you'll buy a really expensive camera as your first camera and then realize that you didn't actually like to use it in the first place, or realize, maybe I don't really like photography, or I don't think this is going, you know what I mean? This way, when you buy something cheap, you can get it out of the way and not waste a lot of money on something you don't even know you're gonna like in the long term anyways. So if you're a newbie, or you're just some person trying to get into photography and you want to step your game up or whatever, buy the cheapest camera you can possibly buy to get that buying itch out of the way. Because then once you do that, you can start to figure whether or not you even like photography in the first place, because sometimes it's just an emotional purchase, right? We have so much weight we bear onto this first camera that we buy, that by buying something cheap and crappy, our wallet doesn't have to suffer for our dreams and ambition. You know, that's basically it. And then this brings me into the next point, and it's that the first one leaves clues. The first camera you buy oftentimes leaves clues towards the second or third camera that you're going to buy in the future. Maybe you'll realize, oh, I actually don't like this focal length, or oh, maybe I wish I kind of had something bigger or smaller, or vice versa. And so that's why it's important to just get a really crappy camera, because then you'll start to understand and know what you like and don't like. And everyone's personal journey is very different. What I like versus what you like is going to be very different, versus the situations that I like to be in and the photos I like to take is going to be completely different from you. So that's why the first purchase is very important to be a cheap one, because then you can figure out a lot of things on a budget and you don't have to break the bank to figure out these things about your own photography. So hopefully I made that clear. I don't know if I need to go more in depth on that. I think that should have done it, right? Main takeaways from this video is that if you're a person who's interested in photography and wants to start photography because it seems like maybe a fun hobby, passion journey that could potentially turn into something bigger and better, one, work with what you have. So don't let buying a camera be a physical barrier or gateway towards you experiencing and learning photography. If you got a phone, use it. Two, don't buy the camera gear your favorite creator is using, because you're not going to be able to take the type of photos or videos that they're taking just because you have the same camera. There's a lot of things that goes into the stuff that they make that you're going to have to learn by just doing a bunch of your own stuff. Don't break the bank for it, because it's not going to be worth it and you're going to get upset and realize that, why isn't my stuff looking like theirs? Three, if you really feel like buying something, get the buying itch out of the way on something cheap that is like $10, $20, $30. You can get an old digicam, you can get an old film camera, and just learn the basics of photography first, because chances are maybe you don't even like photography in the first place. So get the buying itch out of the way so you don't waste a bunch of money on something that you might not even like. And then finally, the first camera you buy will leave clues towards the second camera you buy. But no camera is perfect, meaning that unless you strike gold and you get really lucky and you find the camera that's just perfect for everything you want to do, chances are no camera can do everything. So you'll realize that, oh, I need a camera that kind of does this and this and this, because the camera I currently have doesn't do that. So the first one will leave clues towards your second camera. Anyways, hopefully this video was helpful. If you guys have any opinions or advice to give other people, leave them down in the comment section, or if you have any questions as well. If you want to hear more about photography, creativity, productivity, whatever, be sure to subscribe, like this video so you'll hear from me again, and thank you guys as always for watching. I will see you in another video. Peace.